gon' talk about it. Let's talk about it. Get in here, we in here tonight. So get in here, we in here to vibe.
Hey, everybody. Hey. Let me know if you guys can hear me. Give me a good thumbs up or just reply, I can hear you down below for me, please. And thank you. I came on a little earlier today because I want to knock out 2 live streams today. So I'm going to be doing a back-to-back. But it's not gonna all be in one live stream. So this one will be no longer than 2 hours. And then the next one will be no longer than 2 hours. So I'm working 4 hours today, you guys, 4 hours today. So I do have a goal set. And I know it's, it's hefty, but we can make it, right? Y'all see $50, $55 super chats. Also, I have my coffee up if you want to send your girl a coffee, all right? But listen, we're going to have a conversation today because guess what I done found out, you guys? Court is on Monday, okay? Court is on Monday. Let me pull up those papers right quick and let you guys see that we are about to go to court, baby. Go back to court on Monday at 9 o'clock. Okay, hold on. Let me just show you that. And then we're going to get into, y'all like my thumbnail? Y'all like my thumbnail? Oh, yes, I did monetize it. Thank you so much, Kim. Appreciate you. Listen, everything I say over here is based on my opinion only. So it's allegedly. I'm definitely not trying to defame nobody's character, all right? I say that because when I say what I'm going to say about Tia, that's just my own opinion, okay? We're going to pull hers up, but let me first show you guys that court is on Monday, all right? So hopefully our girl will be getting out on Monday. All right, that's what I think she'll be getting out on Monday. So as y'all see here, right here, the next hearing is 9 o'clock on the 27th, which is Monday. Let me just make sure I got it right again. The 27th, yes, that's Monday. So if all goes well, which it will, then she will be released on Monday. Now, I don't know exactly what time she'll be released. Just because court is at 9 o'clock don't mean that they're going to release her right afterwards. You know what I'm saying? They got paperwork and a whole bunch of other things that they would have to deal with or whatever. So I don't think it'll be 9 o'clock on Monday. It will probably more or less be probably later. You know what I'm saying? Because they have to do a whole lot of things or whatever, right? So anyway, y'all drop them white hearts down in the chat, baby, because our girl is coming home, okay? She is coming home to be with her family, at least until, she does have to appear in court on every court date, right? Which the next one would be May the 6th. So that will still be a court date, but she will be coming to court not from her jail cell, okay? She will be coming to court from her residence, right? So kudos to Ari, you guys. Kudos to Ari. Big ups to Ari. Look at Ari, y'all. Hold on. Look at Ari. She just wanted to blow a kiss. Y'all like that? I love it. Hey, I love it. Y'all hit that thumbs up button. Hit that thumbs up. I love it. Okay. So again, court is on Monday at 0900. Okay, 0900. Now let's get over here to Miss Tia, because y'all, I am a critic of hers, and the reason being is because, and I'm not a big critic of hers. I'm only a critic just dealing with this case. I don't even follow her to be a real critic of hers. However, when it deals with this case, I am a critic of hers. And the reason being is because I just expect better from Tia, being a journalist. I do expect better from her. To me, she acts like a blogger. She acts like somebody like me, right? That can just literally just read off documents. It doesn't seem like she does research very well. And it doesn't seem like, she knows much about what's going on in this case. I don't know if she just needs to stop covering it because, yeah. So I heard a lot of people say that they were going to wait on Tia in order to believe whatever it is that they were going to believe about Holly's release, right? Or the appellate court saying reverse the decision and set some conditions and get her the hell out of there immediately, right? Because that's basically what the court said, right? The appellate court said, we agree with Mrs. Johnson, meaning Holly. So we need you guys to set some conditions and have her at home, okay? Send her home. Get her out of there. She should not be locked up. We agree. She should not be locked up because the state failed to prove why she is a danger out there in these streets, okay? They failed to prove it. They failed to prove it. Now, let me say this before I bring up Miss Tia. Now, I'm not going to say no names. For one, I'm not trying to get into it with no other content creator. That's one, right? And two, I'm not trying to give no other content creator no clout on my page. That's why you're not hearing me screaming somebody's name. Y'all have to understand when people scream other people's names on their platform, baby, they just trying to ride that white horse, okay? They really just trying to clout chase is what they doing. So anyway, but I've heard bloggers. Now, I don't know if you guys been just, riding around on your tricycle, but I heard bloggers try to downplay the appellate order, right? And try to downplay it and highlight the descending judge, right? They're trying to highlight, the descending judge agreed. Yeah, okay. They're trying to downplay the fact that the order is reverse and remand, meaning reverse and remand, take it back down to the lower court and y'all get her up out of there. Basically, get her up out of there, okay? So they're telling their audience that this doesn't mean that she's coming home and that, and if she does come home, she's only going to be home for a little while, meaning that she's going to get back locked up or whatever. They're saying this. I heard somebody, matter of fact, I think Tia said it. The state has the last word, or the circuit court has the last word. Baby, they saying all types of stuff. But honey, let's just listen to what Tia had to say in this live right here. Okay, hold on. Let me put this up because I definitely want it to appear like it is that I'm doing commentary. Hold on one second. Let me grab it out. I don't want them to think that I'm not doing commentary. I don't want them to think that I'm just stealing her video. All right. So let's do commentary on Miss Tia. Okay. Tia, they were literally waiting for her to make a statement, and she did. We're going to go over her statement. Again, I think you guys will agree with me. Tia need to stick to doing the weather. I don't know if that's what type of newscaster she is. Is she a weather lady? If she is, she needs to stick to doing toy drives, because I understand that she does Christmas toy drives. So she needs to stick to doing toy drives or either updating the damn weather or whatever, letting us know how cold it's going to be outside. Because reporting on a murder case, especially one like this one, she should just stand down, okay? She literally should stand down because she is definitely not on top of her game. Now, I know that she's a wife and a mother, and she probably has a whole lot on her plate, but it would just behoove her to just get his case up, seriously, because she's like somebody else I know, always reporting wrong ass shit. Wrong shit, late shit. You know what I'm saying? It just be all discombobulated. She just let us know how hot it's going to be in Chicago and keep it pushing, all right? Now, from what my knowledge, she's been doing this for a while, okay? I want to say she mentioned over 20 years. You would think that someone that has been journaling for over 20 years would be better than her, okay? I'm just going to keep it a buck. That you would think that they would present it better than her. And I'm just disappointed with what I've been hearing out her mouth when it comes to this Holly case, all right? All right, so let's get into it. And let's hear the gaslighting, okay? Let's hear the manipulation. Let's hear this is not what I really want to tell y'all, but I got to tell y'all, okay? But it ain't what I really want to tell y'all. So let me try to see if I can make other people happy right now. That's exactly what she's doing, okay? She is trying to appease to a certain audience. And baby, it's given... Just give it up already. Girl, just give it up so you could wear all out pink. You see she ain't painting them nails pink no more, right? Because somebody done called up to the news station and told them that every time she goes live and speak on the Romika case that she has on pink nails, which represent Romika. Well, baby, she got on white this time, so I guess she is representing Holly. Okay. All right. Anyway, let's get into Tia's 17-minute response. We're going to be stopping and talking about it as we play it. All right. Hold on one second. Let me make sure I don't have my echo thing set on. Okay, it's off. So you guys should be able to hear this loud and clear. Here we go. Let's go.
I'll give you guys a few seconds to come on in.
Y'all already know it take her 10 minutes to start a live, so let me fast forward. I don't like when people do that. I don't like people have these long-ass intros and shit. Just cut the chase. God damn. Okay, here we go.
The very beginning. So I started getting all of these. I have no idea. All right.
She flips her hair too much for me. I am I don't know if y'all know this, but I have anxiety, okay? And certain shit bothers me. Certain shit bothers me. And flipping the hair like this bothers me. It literally bothers me. I don't know why people F with their hair like that. Like, God damn. But anyway, let's go.
Come on in. I just want to give a quick update. So I'll start out because I do have a show to record. So yesterday I was not at work. I started getting flooded with my inbox about this case, as many people are concerned about this case. A lot of people have been following this case since the very beginning. So I started getting...
Okay, I'm gonna have to let me put something in front of her video. Hold on. I can't do her flipping that hair. Listen, she said that she wasn't at work yesterday, right? I'm gonna stop doing what I'm doing, y'all. I'm not gonna let her bother me. But she said she wasn't at work. So why respond? If you're not at work and you don't know the information, why don't you just say, as soon as I get the updates, I will bring it forth? Why actually come out with something that make you sound so crazy, like you don't know what you're doing, and then come back today and say, or whenever she did this, when did she do this? Oh, yesterday. Come back and say, oh, I wasn't at work when I passed out the information. You are a journalist. Do you know journalists have degrees? They go to school for this. They literally go to school for this. I didn't go to school to blog. You know what I'm saying? I literally just picked up a microphone and sat in a chair. But she goes to school for this. She went to school for this. So you don't just come out and speak out your ass without verifying the information that comes out of your mouth. It makes you non-credible. But anyway, y'all, I'm so sorry. Let me just start over because I don't want to give y'all half-ass information. So let's start back over. I'm just going to try to ignore the hair flipping, but it does get on my nerves. But anyway, let's go.
I have no idea. All right, come on in. I just want to give a quick update. So I'll start out because I do have a show to record. So yesterday I was not at work. I started getting flooded with my inbox about this case, as many people are concerned about this case. A lot of people have been following this case since the very beginning. So I started getting all of these messages about, is Quadasia Holly Johnson going to be released? It's saying that her attorney, Ari Williams, won an appeal for her to be released. So I wanted to give an update because yesterday I wasn't at work. So as soon as I started getting flooded with that, I texted our assignment desk, who then looked up this information about the case. They couldn't find anything at that time on the case. So I reported what they were able to find, which at that time.
So right here, you can tell that she's already not being honest, okay? Because she says she texts the assignment desk for updates on the case. But then she turns around and say she recorded what she found, right? So she didn't text no assignment desk. She went and looked for her damn self, but she looked in another system. She didn't know nothing about the Research Illinois, right? So literally she just told a fib, and I don't know if y'all caught that. She said she texted the assignment desk to see were there any updates, and then she recorded what she found, right? Just check it out. Just go on and say you looked up the wrong site, you didn't see no information, and you ran to the internet and put it out like you was right about some shit, and you wasn't right. She got called out. She probably listening to me right now. She got called out for not being on top of her P's and Q's as a journalist and reporting wrong information. And so she had to do a follow-up video for today, yesterday, basically to say she was wrong without saying she was wrong. But y'all know some people will not take accountability for shit. So that's why now she's trying to insinuate that she got it from an assignment desk. No, boo-boo kitty. You got that information from what you looked up on the Illinois site. Like, let's just keep it a buck. How the hell did she screen record that? Y'all got to read between the lines, okay? She didn't text no assignment desk. She went online, looked up that information, and she recorded it herself.
It's saying that her attorney, Ari Williams, won an appeal for her to be released. So I wanted to give an update because yesterday I wasn't at work. So as soon as I started getting flooded with that, I texted our assignment desk, who then looked up this information about the case. They couldn't find anything at that time on the case. So I reported what they were able to find, which at that time was that she was still in custody, which she still is. So let me kind of give you the breakdown, and then I'll read for you some of what has been put out there in the public sphere. So there is a web.
Why would she read it though? You know, journalists summarize. She did what I did. She literally did what I did. Took it from the top. From the top to from the bottom to the top. That's some, anyway. But she did what I did. She read it from the top. They summarized. Before she even came out, she should have either wrote out a summary or she should have just summarized it in her mind instead of reading word from word. Just bullet points. She's a journalist. They don't cover, when they cover the story, they don't say the whole thing. They just summarize it, right? Anyway, let's
site
continue.
that you can go to. I think it's illinoiscourt.gov.
And then she gonna give out a site that she just learned about. She didn't even know about that damn site, because if she knew about that, she would know that the appellate information wasn't even on the site in which she posted about. You will find no appellate information on that site, okay? It's a whole different site that has the appellate information. If she knew that, she wouldn't have never texted her assignment desk, and she never would have looked up the information on the Illinois site. She would have went to the other site. So now she thinks she's doing something by giving out the information saying, oh, you got to go to another website. It's called Research. What is it again? Oh, yeah, Research Illinois. Now she wants to put out the information because she just found out the information. She didn't even have it. Thank you so much, Candy. My little sis said, Holly coming home. This lady is worst news forecaster I've ever seen. Too emotionally involved. Yep. She's going to learn to stay neutral. She is horrible. If she don't stop touching that damn sew-in, I'm going to scream, girl. I thought I was the only one bothered by that damn hair of hers. You hear me? Thank you so much for that love. I appreciate that love. I thought I was the only one that was bothered by her hair. Her hair was really getting on my nerves. And I know people probably like, oh, Moira, it gets on your nerve because you don't have hair. Well, it might be, but her flipping that damn hair was really irking my damn nerves. You hear me? Anyway, let me just go back just a little bit. All right, here we go.
What they were able to find, which at that time was that she was still in custody, which she still is. So let me kind of give you the breakdown, and then I'll read for you some of what has been put out there in the public sphere. So there is a website that you can go to. I think it's illinoiscourt.gov. You can see public documents, but then there's another website called, hold on, I want to make sure I'm giving you the right information. So anybody on here that wanted to look up court documents, you can.
Who does that? What journalists give out that type of information? As a blogger, I wouldn't even tell y'all where I get my sources from, right? Because if that's the case, then why do y'all need to come listen to me? Tia, why? And I'm not mad. It's weird to me. Why give the public the information where you go and you retrieve your information? Hell, y'all might be like, why I gotta listen to Amora when I could go and pull the document up myself? Like, Tia, you are the news lady. You are the source. You are the plug. You don't give them where you get your meat and potatoes from. Did you not know that?
Go look it up. And it's researchil.com. That's not, I'm not telling you anything that's private information. This is in the public sphere. And
why does she have to say that? Why does she? Oh, okay, y'all. Y'all can tell she irks my nerves, right? Okay, here we go.
You can go see for yourself. So real quick, because people have tried to say that I'm, in support of one versus another. That's not the case here, but I want to give you what is a win for Ari Williams, which is Quadeja Holly Johnson's attorney. This is a win for her because she has been essentially pleading with the court that her client, Quadeja Holly Johnson, poses no immediate risk to the public and should not be held in jail while she goes back and forth to trial. She doesn't pose a risk. She had never been in trouble before, all of those things. People that know Quadeja Holly Johnson have echoed the same thing online. So this is a win for her attorney. So when it came down to this appeal in a 2-1 decision, the court reversed the prior ruling, which was on a lower court's level, and remanded the matter of detention to the lower court for further proceedings. So let me explain what that means. And let me be very clear. I am not a lawyer, but I've covered enough of these stories to where I understand, legalese and legal process. So essentially what that means is this appeals court, 2 of the judges sided with Ari Williams and Quadeja Holly Johnson.
For her to be a professional, she didn't even have to mention that. 2 of the judges sided with Holly Johnson and 1 sided with the state. She didn't even have to say that because majority rule. Now, I told y'all because I'm being transparent as a blogger, but all she had to say as a journalist is the appellate court overruled that shit. The appellate court ruled in Quadeja Johnson and Ari Williams' favor. Why all the extra shit? 2 against 1. 1 said that the state was right. 2 said that Holly was right. And this is what they said. Why even do all of that? I did it because I'm covering the entire document from the beginning to the end, and I just want to be transparent with you guys. But for her to do it, to me, it's an agenda. It's an agenda. It speaks volumes. She didn't have to do that. She did not have to do that. But nevertheless, let's continue. I'm nitpicking because of her professionalism, you guys. Not just being another blogger, but she is a trained school degree holding journalist. She is a journalist.
She should not be held. 1 judge disagreed with them, but obviously it's 2-1. So 2 winning this, right? 2 means that's more than 1. So then,
oh my God, y'all. Did she say 2 mean more than 1? Why does she have to put the extra words in there like she's talking to dummies? She's out here acting like she's talking to a toddler or something. I mean, they do have some toddlers out here. But why is she doing all of this, you guys? Why all of this? I don't get it. She said, did you turn your ads on? Yes, y'all not getting ads? I think I turned it on. Why? Hold on. Let me see if I turn my monetization on. Oh, yeah, it's on. But why is 2 means more than 1? 4 means more than 3. Like, why all this extra stuff like she's talking to a child? I'm going to be honest with you. You know who else does this that pisses me off? Well, I ain't even going to put them in this. I ain't going to put him in this. Somebody else I used to cover a lot. He did the same thing and it used to get on my nerves. But never mind. Let's go, y'all. Oh.
That she should not be held. 1 judge disagreed with them, but obviously it's 2-1. So 2 winning this, right? 2 means that's more than 1. So then they prevail. Their say prevails in all of this. And so now what that means is it goes back to the lower court. The lower court is the court that she's currently going back and forth in and has been pleading this same situation. That court will now give the final say. So here's my take on this. As of right now, they're not supposed to be back in court until May. So
see, now if she read the Research Illinois, she would see that they already have a court date set for the 27th at 9 a.m. She just keep giving out incorrect information. Now, they do have a court date set for the May date. However, they're going to be going to court before the May date, okay? They will be going to court before the May date, like Monday, okay? So, I don't know. Ooh, child, Tia.
take on this. As of right now, they're not supposed to be back in court until May. So I'm guessing this will be the first.
And not only that, let me just say this right quick. She says she's been covering these a lot, right? Covering these cases a lot. Then she already know that when an appellate court reverse and remand, that's an immediate reaction. And when I say immediate, I don't mean immediate like right now, right? I mean, oh, okay. I had to read that. When I say immediate, I don't mean immediate right now, but as soon as possible, right? So, which means it would be before May the 6th. I told y'all, and y'all heard AI say they normally do something like this with less than a week, okay? So we just found out about 2 days ago or so, and so it looks like it's because of the weekend. It's going to be, because if you count up just the days, the business days, it is about 5 business days, right? But if you throw the weekend in there, then we're looking at 7 to 8 days, okay? So, but they're not going to wait till May to let her just sit there when the appellate court said, release her immediately. Handle this. Y'all need to release her immediately. Meaning that she needs to go to court, get some conditions, and get the F out of Dodge immediately. So why would they wait till May the 6th? So you would think that she said, hey, they don't have the court date listed yet, but because of my knowledge and because I've been covering this case a lot or whatever, that they should be setting a court date very soon, and it will probably be before the May court date. That's what she should have said if she was really knowledgeable like she says she is, right?
So now what that means is it goes back to the lower court. The lower court is the court that she's currently going back and forth in and has been pleading this same situation. That court will now give the final say. So here's my take on this. As of right now, they're not.
Let me just clear something up because I don't want to confuse people. When she say the lower court, which it's called the circuit court, okay? The circuit court, okay? You got the appellate court and the circuit court, okay? She can call it the lower court, but the proper word is the circuit court. So the circuit court does not have the final say, right? Now, let me clean it up with the way she said have the final say. They have the final say on, they're going to set them damn conditions, but they don't have the final say. It sounds like she came off with, they have the final say whether she's going to be released or not, okay? They don't have the final say whether she's going to be released or not. She's going to be released. The appellate court spoke. They said because the circuit court, i.e. the state, the prosecutor, did not prove, okay, they failed to prove that she was a danger. So because they failed to prove that, she is to be released. The only thing that the circuit court is doing is setting conditions. They was ordered to set conditions, okay? Now, I told y'all this yesterday, and I told y'all this the day before yesterday, that even if the state decides to appeal it or want to argue something else, Holly will be out, okay? They can argue all they want to, but she will be out, and if they argue something and they find, okay, well, you know what, you're right, what you just said, then they'll bring her back in. But baby, that's a long shot. And they ain't got time for that, okay? They ain't got time for that. So she will be out on Monday. However, let us continue. So when she says they have the final say, I just wanted to correct that. They don't have the final say on whether she's going to be released or not. They just have the final say on what conditions are going to be set for her, okay?
Will now give the final say. So here's my take on this. As of right now, they're not supposed to be back in court until May. So I'm guessing this will be the first topic of discussion is, hey, will she be released?
What do you mean, will she be released? I thought you said you covered these already, Tia. I thought you cover a lot of these. It ain't no will she be released. She will be released. She will be released. Now I say Monday, but you know what? It may even be Tuesday. And the only reason why I say Tuesday because I don't know how long it takes for them to do paperwork, but she will be released next week, okay? I'm saying Monday, but I don't know how long paperwork. I've been to jail when I was 17 years old, y'all, for fighting, okay? That's why I don't fight nobody. That's why I don't lay hands. I would rather, child, let me just hit play. Let me hit play. Huh.
the judge would have to decide the reasoning of why not. Because at this point, a higher court has ruled that she should be released.
Hold on. What did she just say?
And has been pleading this same situation. That court will now give the final say. So here's my take on this. As of right now, they're not supposed to be back in court until May. So I'm guessing this will be the first topic of discussion is, hey, will she be released? The judge would have to decide the reasoning of why not. Because at this point...
Okay, incorrect. Now, appellate court outweighs circuit court. Appellate court outweighs circuit court. Appellate court outweighs circuit court. Appellate court, and I already told the judge what he needs to do. The judge is going to be deciding on conditions. That's it, that's all. That's it, that's all. That's it, that's all. He is not going to decide on whether he's going to release her or not. He is going to take the orders from the appellate court, which says, set conditions and let her release her. Undetain her, period. He's going to decide on whether he's going to release her or not. In my opinion, she's saying this because she wants to soften the blows, right? And what I mean by that, y'all, it was so many people saying she'll never get out. She'll never get out. She'll never see the sight of day. She'll never get out, okay? They were wrong to say that. Just like I was wrong to say that she was going to be released back in January, right? But y'all know me. I came out and admitted, hey, y'all, I got it wrong. I got it wrong, didn't I? Raise your hand if you heard me say I got it wrong. Because I am a type of person that takes accountability. I can say that. I can stand on anything that I say. I can say I got it wrong. But do you think they're going to say that? Hell no. They're going to come up with 50,000 different reasons of why she's getting out. Okay? They're letting her out because she's pregnant. They're letting her out because her last name is Johnson. And the person on one of the judges' last name was Johnson. So that means that that's her grandfather. They're letting her out because her name starts with a Q. They're letting her out because they feel sorry for her baby. They're letting her out because they will come up with so many reasons of why they are letting her out instead of just saying, we came out here and basically wanted to emotionally control our supporters, right? We wanted them to stay on the emotional roller coaster with us. And so we told them that so they could feel better. That's what we do. We give emotional content and we just wanted them to feel better and we still want them to feel better. So we're not going to come out and say we were loud and motherfucking wrong. We're not going to say that. We're just going to say, this is the reason why they let her out. They only let her out because of this. They only let her out because of that, okay? They won't just say, you know what? We thought we knew what we were talking about and we did not. So next time we will be a little bit more careful with saying she's going to get out. I mean, she's not going to get out. 100%. She's not going to get out. She's not going to get out. She's not going to get out. Okay? All right? Because we don't know. We don't know, right? We didn't know if she was going to get out this time. I had a strong feeling that she was, and I think I said that. Okay? I had a strong feeling that she was going to get out. For one, the state messed up. The state tried to come at Ari with, oh, her biggest argument is that she got it on videotape and she didn't even turn the videotape in, which, minimizes her argument. And Ari was able to turn around and say, who didn't turn your video in? What is this? If you open your eyes, you will see that the video has been turned in, okay? So the state messed up. When I came out here and I broke down, the state messed up and had to do a correction. I told y'all then, this is not good for the state. This does not look good for the state. It does not look good for the state. That was a hit. No matter how, I heard, Ari's plea to the appellate was weak. It was weak. And the state is strong where? Where were they strong at? Underneath their arms. That's the only thing the state was strong at, okay? That's it. That's all. Because they damn sure wasn't strong in that appellate write-up, okay? Let's continue.
Lower court is the court that she's currently going back and forth in and has been pleading this same situation. That court will now give the final say. So here's my take on this. As of right now, they're not supposed to be back in court until May. So I'm guessing this will be the first topic of discussion is, hey, will she be released? The judge would have to decide the reasoning of why not. Because at this point, a higher court has ruled that she should be released. All right, and let me read you some of this, some of what I have here. So here's the opinion of the court, okay? And so there was 3 judges here. There was Justice Mikva delivered the judgment of the court with opinion. So there was an opinion from that judge on this case. Justice Odin Johnson concurred in the judgment and opinion. And then presiding Justice Mitchell dissented, with opinion. And they do note in here, because people will hear Odin Johnson, they may think there's some relation to Quadeja Holly Johnson. There's absolutely no relation. And they actually say that in the document, just so we're clear. So it goes on to say, defendant Quadeja Johnson appeals from the circuit court's order granting the state's petition to detain her before trial pursuant to, and then they give you a legal code. Commonly known as the Pretrial Fairness Act. We reverse the circuit court's detention order.
Why isn't she summarizing this? She literally should just be summarizing this. What did April say? She said, when they asked for the video, I knew Holly was getting out. And then somebody said they got caught up just like the damn first fist bump that don't exist, just lying. Exactly.
And remand to the court to consider the conditions for Ms. Johnson's pretrial relief. In the petition for relief she filed in the circuit court, Ms. Johnson argued that the state failed to establish by clear and convincing evidence that the proof was evident or the presumption great that she committed first-degree murder, which is the detainable offense she was charged with, that she posed a real and present threat to individuals or the community, and that no conditions could mitigate that threat. We agree with Ms. Johnson that the state failed to carry its burden.
That's right, fail. So all them people that's going around here saying that she's getting out because she's pregnant is wrong. The state failed. The pregnancy thing is the last thing that the paperwork, the last thing that they state, right? As far as, her release. It's not the priority. It's not the top. They failed because outside of anything else, they failed to prove that she's a danger, period. If that's the only thing the court wrote up, that would have been good enough. They failed. They failed to prove that she was a danger, period.
Of showing that her release poses such a significant threat that she cannot be released pending trial with conditions. So again, this particular opinion is in the citing of Johnson and her attorney, saying that they do not believe that the circuit court has presented a clear argument of why she should be detained and not her trial.
They didn't. It wasn't clear. Oh, it was daylight outside. So if it was darker, that makes it better. So now you only supposed to protect yourself in the dark? What? Oh, it was kids around. Was you supposed to go into the woods and get away from the kids? Like, come on. It is people that is released. And that's why they were doing all those case laws. This person versus that person. This person versus that person. They was showing all those case laws because they was basically saying, this person is more dangerous on paper than Holly. But y'all saying that she needs to stay until trial? She's the most dangerous person out here. But y'all done let people that then ran, that was on probation, that then reoffended, reoffenders and things like that. Y'all done let these people out. But Holly, no violent background, right? She had a license to carry. She did pretty much everything right legally to lead up to that date, right? And Romika approached her. Romika started the confrontation. And you mean to tell me she's dangerous? Listen, it's some people that's not even charged with first degree that's more dangerous than Holly. They got YouTube channels, baby. They spinning out and crashing out, baby. They more dangerous than Holly. Do you hear me? They got literally content creators, narcissistic content creators that's more dangerous than Holly. Get the F out of here,
All right. Then it goes through the background, which we all know of what, has been said and what has been found in discovery. According to the state, witnesses would describe how Mr. Smith stood between the women and pushed Miss Johnson away from Miss Blackman, who was standing in the open driver's side of her door of her vehicle. The state reported that evidence would show that one witness called 911 to report a fight between two women and described as observing Mr. Smith repeatedly pushing the door of Mrs. Blackman's car shut, hitting her with it. The witness testimony proffered by the state was that Miss Blackman then got into her vehicle and Miss Johnson approached, threatening Miss Blackman. Miss Blackman got back out of the car and Mr. Smith placed her in a chokehold. Miss Blackman tried to break free. With her hand in the air, Miss Johnson threatened to shoot Miss Blackman and retrieved a gun from her vehicle. Miss Blackman broke free from Mr. Smith and stepped backwards. According to the state's proffer, that was the point at which Miss Johnson shot Miss Blackman several times. According to the...
So even listening to her talk and reading this background of the case, the state want people to believe that Romika pulled up and then they got into a little argument or whatever. Then she got back in her car. And then Holly, made threats toward her, provoked her, whatever. Then she got out of the car. But then she got out of the car. However, Carlos grabbed her. This is what the state's saying. Carlos grabbed her, had her in a chokehold. She wiggled her way out of the chokehold and immediately stepped backwards. But that wasn't good enough for Holly. Holly saw her take a step back and said, "No, bitch, you die today. I'm coming to get you," and just shot her. That's what the state wants us to believe. Do y'all hear this shit? Do y'all hear this shit? The state wants us to believe that Romika pulled up just to be scared and back away. That don't even sound right. And anybody that knows Romika know that shit didn't go down like that. Literally. They want us to believe that she busted a Huey, pulled up, got out, started arguing, and then all of a sudden at some point got out of the car, but at some point, oh, I'm just going to back away. That doesn't even make sense, because why back away? Why get back out the car? It does not make sense. It does not make sense. And baby, let me tell you, I can't wait to trial, because a good defense attorney is going to eat all of that up. Do you hear me? They're going to eat it all up. It does not make sense. And I don't think people that's following this case is processing that. It does not make sense. Like, we got to be a little bit smarter here. This doesn't say, "Oh, we glad Romika is gone." Nobody, I'm sure nobody, me or nobody in my chat, is glad that a life was taken. But if you're going to tell the story, make it make sense. What the state is saying does not make sense at all. It does not. It does not. Absolutely, it does not. Okay? Let's continue.
State, one witness reported that after Miss Johnson shot Miss Blackman, Miss Johnson and Mr. Smith celebrated with a fist bump. Defense counsel argued that Miss Blackman was the aggressor and Miss Johnson acted in self-defense. Hold on, pause that right quick. Let me go back to something, because I skipped over something at the beginning. I just want to make sure I didn't miss anything. So it's basically going into the facts of the case, everything that we know. Defense counsel argued that Ms. Blackman was the aggressor and Ms. Johnson acted in self-defense. Defense counsel advised the circuit court that Ms. Johnson has sought a stalking no contact order against Ms. Blackman December 2024 because Ms. Blackman was repeatedly calling and text messaging her and her family members and commenting on her social media in a threatening manner. Defense counsel provided the state and the court with a transcript of a hearing held regarding that no contact order in June of 2025 and explained that Ms. Blackman threatened Ms. Johnson directly by text until Ms. Johnson blocked her number, and then Ms. Blackman sent threatening messages to others, including Ms. Johnson's grandmother, in which she said that she was going to kill Ms. Johnson. Ms. Blackman was present at that June 2025 hearing on the no contact order, but did not make a subsequent appearance, and a default order of protection was issued on July 14th, 2025. Counsel for Ms. Johnson argued that the witnesses at the scene told police that after Ms. Blackman got out of the headlock, she rushed as Mrs. Johnson's car with the 6-month-old baby inside. And that was when Ms. Johnson shot her. Defense counsel also argued that Ms. Blackman had boxed in Ms. Johnson's car by pulling up beside her when Mr. Smith's car was in front of hers, preventing her from leaving. On the issue of whether Ms. Johnson posed a threat to the community, defense counsel emphasized that except for a speeding ticket and a misdemeanor retail theft conviction for which she received supervision.
So how does a person, and I'm not saying that you can't all of a sudden snap, because we do know people that snap, but a person that only has a speeding ticket and a misdemeanor for something from when she was like 19 or 20 years old, right? And she was approached by her stalker. How is she a threat? And you know, that's why I tell y'all that this case is going to be very, very interesting, because the state wants people to believe, I'm going to say us, the state wants us to believe that this was an intentional, listen to the words, an intentional killing. Intentional. How the fuck is it intentional when she is the one that was approached? She was minding her business. That alone, to me, is not intent. She didn't ask that girl. She didn't text that girl to come over here. That was not an intentional, it was not intentional murder. That was not an intentional murder. Can't nobody convince me of that. I may not be the smartest person in the world, and y'all know I would jack up fucking words that got more than 4 syllables, okay? But it was not intentional. You can't tell me that that was intentional. If I'm minding my business, you bust a U-turn after seeing me and get out of your car. I didn't ask you to come over here. If I intended to kill you, I'm rolling up on you. How can you say intentional? So if somebody come to my house and they get unalive, you gonna say I intentionally killed them? What? That was not intentional at all. Anyway, let's continue.
Ms. Johnson had no criminal background. Ms. Johnson had a valid FOID card and concealed carry license. She ran her own eyelash business, volunteered in the community, and had just been accepted into a program to become a dental assistant. Ms. Johnson was also the mother of a young baby and had just become pregnant with a second child. Counsel underscored that Ms. Johnson has sought and obtained a protective order against Ms. Blackman, that she stayed on the scene and waited for police, that she cooperated with them, and that the state waited almost 3 months or until December 3rd, 2024 to arrest her. The court granted the state's petition for pretrial detention. On December 22nd, 2025, Ms. Johnson filed a motion for relief pursuant to the Illinois Supreme Court Rule 604H. On January 7th of 2026, Ms. Johnson filed an amended motion. At the hearing on the motion, defense counsel provided the court with several exhibits, which are also part of the record on appeal. Defense counsel argued that the video footage showed that the state's witnesses could not have seen or heard as much of the incident as they claimed, and that particularly witness 3, who was the only witness to report the fist bump, was not in position to have seen Ms. Johnson after the shooting and did not report this alleged fist bump to the police when she spoke to them initially.
Which means to me, the fist bump shit just blows me. But not just that. A lot of things blow me, right? I can't wait until if she's not impeached before then, right? If witness number 3 doesn't become impeached before then, I cannot wait until she's cross-examined. I can't wait until witness number 3 is cross-examined, because she will have to explain how the hell did she see what she say she saw when she is on camera in a whole nother area. I cannot wait. I ain't even gonna be in court. I'm acting like I'm gonna be right there. But if they show it, we're gonna see it together, okay? If they publicize this, which they might not, because, you know, to be honest with you, these are 2 black females we're talking about. They don't, and to be honest with you, they don't even think this is that important. Only Tia is covering the case in the first place. This ain't no CNN. You got David, D4VD. You got him on all the stations being talked about. And we're gonna cover him on our next live, right? But you got him, and then the guy that just unalived his 8 children. or 8 kids, you got them all over the place. Kadasia Johnson and this Romika Meek story is not all over the place, okay? I'm just being honest. It's not as big as people think it is, okay? But anyway, let's continue.
Defense counsel also advised that the court that Mr. Smith had reported to the police that Ms. Blackman approached Ms. Johnson, threatened her, and then swung at her. He also reported that Ms. Blackman told Ms. Johnson, I told you I was going to catch you, and that Ms. Johnson told Ms. Blackman, leave me alone. Defense counsel pointed to video evidence that showed Ms. Johnson with her hair disheveled when police arrived on scene, looking as if she had been attacked. Hold on. I don't know if I have time to read all of this. I'm trying to skip around.
You should have summarized it, Tia. You are a journalist. You literally could have summarized this. Literally. You could have summarized it.
Under the Pretrial Fairness Act, this is the analysis, all defendants shall be presumed eligible for pretrial release. Once the state has filed a petition, a defendant can be detained pending trial only where the state shows by clear and convincing evidence that the proof is evident of the presumption great that the defendant committed a qualifying offense based on the facts of the case. The defendant poses a real and present threat to safety of any person or persons of the community. No condition or combination of conditions provided in section 110 through 110B of the code can mitigate either the safety risk or the defendant's willful flight. All right, hold on. Go through this. I'm trying to get to the part. Hold on, you guys. We look next to the history and characteristics of Ms. Johnson herself. Her only criminal history is for a non-violent misdemeanor. The state presented no evidence to suggest that Ms. Johnson has a mental health history, a social history that reflects a danger to the community. Ms. Johnson's physical condition is that she is pregnant. While her pregnancy certainly does not preclude violent actions on her part, its progression may well limit her ability to engage in them. Thus, for almost 3 months, she remained out of custody, but in touch with police as they continue to investigate this case. The fact also demonstrates that she had not posed then and likely will not pose if released a threat to the other witnesses involved in this case, as the circuit court suggested she might. We also find this to be a case where conditions could be imposed that will mitigate against any possible threat, and we remand to the circuit court for consideration of those conditions. Very significant to us is the fact that Ms. Johnson had both a FOID card and a concealed carry license for the gun that she used. This suggests that she would adhere to court order banning her possession of use of any firearms, which surely would be a condition of her release. For those defendants who have been arrested and are awaiting trial for offenses involving illegal gun possession, a ban on the possession of firearms is often viewed as an effectual condition of release. However, for Ms. Johnson, who appears from the record has never owned a gun illegally, this is a condition that could and should militate strongly against any threat. Finally, we note there is an additional consideration in this case because if the detention order remains in place, Ms. Johnson could have to give birth while in jail. Before the Pretrial Fairness Act was enacted, a separate 2019 provision in the bail statute required a hearing before any pretrial defendant was required to give birth in custody. That provision currently provides that, quote, it is the policy of the state that a pretrial detainee shall not be required to deliver a child while in custody absent a finding by the court that continued pretrial custody is necessary to alleviate a real and present threat to the safety of any person or persons or the community. The trial court, citing this section of the statute, suggests that Ms. Johnson's pregnancy would require renewed consideration of whether Ms. Johnson should remain in custody as her due date approaches. However, for the reasons outlined above, we believe that Ms. Johnson should be released sooner rather than later to prepare for and give birth to her baby and prepare with her counsel for trial. Our dissenting colleagues suggest that we failed to appreciate the dangerous situation created by Ms. Johnson's firing shots on public street with children around when she shot Ms. Blackman on September 8th of last year. Of course, we do, and that may well be an appropriate consideration in trial, but that is not the question now. So these judges are basically saying that's why the other judge is saying that she should stay in custody because she fired near a school. But these judges are saying they don't agree with that. Of course, we do, and that may well be an appropriate consideration at trial, but this is not the question now. Rather, the question under the Pretrial Fairness Act is whether Ms. Johnson will be such an ongoing threat to public safety that she must remain in custody while she awaits the trial. Trial will also be the right time to choose between the competing narratives of the confrontation between Ms. Johnson and Ms. Blackman. The dissent paints, that's the other judge that did not agree with them, Ms. Johnson as the clear aggressor, motivated by jealousy or anger at a romantic rival.
Now, so I did some research and I found out that they do this a lot. So this is not an abnormal thing, you guys, in the appellate court, okay? So they have 3 judges, majority rules, but 9 times out of 10, unless it's like a really dry, video evidence of what's real, the truth, one always side against. And they do that to protect the courts, the appellate courts, okay? They do that and they put it in motion. So it's not an abnormal thing for one judge to disagree with the majority, okay? They probably plan this shit that way. They probably said, which one of you guys gonna take the states, take this, what do you call it? It's called, what do we call that? Playing devil's advocate. Okay, that's what it is. Playing devil's advocate. So they always do that. It's not an abnormal thing. So they probably flipped the coin to see who was going to be on the opposing side of the, the aisle. All right. So it's not like the judge probably don't even believe that, stand for the state. But again, it is not abnormal for them to have a dissenting judge, okay? Because they know majority rules. But to CYA, the entire appellate court, right, they do that, okay? So let's continue.
Other than by fear for herself and her 6-month-old child. We have briefly laid out some of the contrary evidence in our recitation of the facts, and we recognize that it will be up in the trier of fact, not us, to decide if this was murder or self-defense. So they're basically saying some of the facts in which the judge that does not agree with the majority is bringing up should be left to trial.
No, all of it should be left to trial. I'm sorry. Tia, all of it is going to be left to trial. That has nothing to do with the getting out right now. So you're saying just because of, and she's saying it's facts. Like, it's not, listen to what she tried to say. The facts. It's not facts. That shit ain't facts. The shit they saying is not facts.
That's the other judge that did not agree with them. Ms. Johnson as the clear aggressor, motivated by jealousy or anger at a romantic rival.
That shit ain't facts. Do y'all hear this? This ain't no damn facts.
Rather than by fear for herself and her 6-month-old child. We have briefly laid out some of the contrary evidence in our recitation of the facts, and we recognize that it will be up in the trier of fact, not us, to decide if this was murder or self-defense. So they're basically saying some of the facts in which the judge that does not agree with the majority is bringing up should be left to trial, not left to be a deciding factor on if Quadasia Johnson should be released. They believe that Quadasia Holly Johnson would pose no immediate threat to the public. A condition of her release, since she is a rightful gun owner and a FOIA card owner and concealed carry license owner, is that during her trial, she would not have access to any of those and access to her guns. But they believe, considering the fact that she assisted with the investigation for 3 months, she wasn't a flight risk, that there is no obvious, clear and present.
And that Romika started the confrontation, not Holly. You might want to add that one too. Tia. You might want to add that one too. They believe that Romika started the confrontation, not Holly. Mm-hmm.
Danger of why she would be a danger to the community, and she poses no flight risk, so it makes no sense, according to them, of why she shouldn't be released. So there you go. this is not an omission of her. This is not the judges saying that she's innocent. They're saying that anything about her innocence, whether she, this is an issue of jealousy, as the other judge who did not agree with them presented.
And then she just cuts it off there. It was probably good that she cut it off there. I don't know. I guess her husband came and snatched the internet cord out the wall or something. But nevertheless, she ended the live right there. But, in my opinion, she's definitely trying to put some damn jam on top of a biscuit, okay? She trying to make it cute, look good, sound good, or whatever the case may be. Up here saying, this is not saying they're innocent. We know her getting out pre-trial does not mean that she's innocent, okay? We know that people have been released before, right? And was still found guilty of whatever charge that they were, whatever crime that they were charged with, all right? So we know that, right? However, the state and a lot of other people wanted Holly to sit for at least a year or longer, right? Waiting on this trial. They wanted her to be locked up for at least a year. But for what? For defending herself? She shouldn't have never been locked up for the almost 5 months that she was locked up. She should not have been locked up. She should not have been locked up, okay? But I just pray that she comes out and, she gets a renewed mind as far as, I know she had to be in there in an uncomfortable place. It would have drove me nuts. But however, she's going to receive all the love in the world when she gets out, okay? So anyway, I find Tia's response to this horrible, okay? Horrible. I think as a journalist, she could have done a better job, but she did not, okay? I would not have posted this horrible ass video on my page, okay? I would not have done it. So anyway, so she doesn't know much about the case, and who knows, she may really just be backing off because I think she probably realized that she got in over her head, okay? She got in and was thinking that, I'm about to carry this case. I'm about to carry this case until she realized it is not as cut and dry as she thought it was, all right? So now let's talk about Holly's release. She has court on Monday. Now, I do understand that people have been writing the judge, writing the courts, writing the whoever, the fairy tale, the tooth fairy, the Easter bunny, and the damn Snow White and the seven damn dwarfs, okay? So people have been writing and writing and writing, trying to insinuate that, well, one of them was that she was online on TikTok. I found that to be crazy, but they would actually say that. But nevertheless, that they are trying to either get Ari removed from the case, or they're trying to say that Holly is a threat to the witnesses, okay? All I got to say is they have to know that people have done this before a lot. So that ain't gonna stop nothing. Social media will not stop nothing. All they doing is just talking and wasting their times, period. They ain't stopping no show at all, okay? Now, I owe you guys, what did I say I was gonna give y'all? I think I was gonna say I was gonna go over the conditions in which she can be released on, okay? Let's do that. Okay, we're going to speak on the conditions and which is likely will be given in her case. Hold on just a second, you guys. Hold on, let me do it smooth read. Can you put this in a smooth read? Okay, hold on. All right, so let's listen up. This is per Illinois law. These are the conditions in which she could receive, and then we're going to talk about the ones that she likely will receive. Okay, y'all ready? Listen up. Turn your volumes up.
Here's a smooth, clean read you can use on your live stream. Let's go ahead and talk about what happens next, because a lot of people are confused about what release actually means in a case like this. Under Illinois law, there is no cash bail system anymore. The court only has two options. They can either detain you, meaning keep you in jail, or they can release you with conditions. Now, in a first-degree murder case, this is considered a detainable offense. That means the state can ask the court to hold you without release. But in order to do that, they have to prove that you are either a real and present threat to someone or that you are a serious flight risk. In this situation, the appellate court has already stepped in and overturned the detention. What that tells us is simple. At least at this stage, the state did not meet its burden to justify keeping her locked up. So now the focus shifts to conditions of release. There are a wide range of conditions the court can impose, and the judge has a lot of discretion here. But generally, these conditions fall into a few categories. First, you have the basic conditions. She must appear in court, follow all court orders, and not commit any new offenses. Second, you have supervision. That usually means she will be reporting to pretrial services, checking in regularly, and possibly complying with any evaluations the court finds necessary. Third, there are movement restrictions. This can include travel limitations, curfews, or being restricted to a certain area. Fourth, and this is a big one in serious cases, electronic monitoring. That typically means a GPS ankle monitor and in many cases, home confinement. Fifth, no contact orders. She will not be allowed to have any contact with witnesses, the victim's family, or anyone connected to the case, and she will likely have to stay away from certain locations. Sixth, firearms restrictions. In a case involving a shooting, the court will require her to surrender any weapons and prohibit her from possessing any. And finally, the judge has the authority to impose any additional condition they believe is necessary to ensure safety and make sure she comes back to court. Now, let's be clear about what she is likely to receive in this specific situation. Because of the severity of the charge, even though she is being released, the court is not just going to let her walk freely with no oversight. She will most likely be placed on electronic monitoring with a GPS ankle bracelet. On top of that, she will likely be on home confinement, meaning she can only leave for approved reasons like court, medical appointments, or meetings with her attorney. She will absolutely have a no contact order in place, and she will be required to report to pretrial services on a regular basis. And in a case like this, firearm restrictions are guaranteed. So when people hear she's coming home, they need to understand what that actually means. This is not full freedom. This is controlled release. The state tried to keep her in jail and did not meet the legal standard to do so. So now the court's role is not to deny her freedom, but to control it. And that is exactly what we are likely about to see.
Okay, so we understand, right? We heard all of that. So there's at least 6 different restrictions that they were most likely, well, 5, and then the 6th one, well, actually 6 and then the 7. Okay, 6 restrictions and possibly anything else the judge can think of, but at least 6 restrictions they can give her. Conditions, I'm sorry. Restriction conditions, same thing. So at least 6 of them, right? So, and because of the charge, not because she's guilty, but because of the charge of first-degree murder with 6 counts, they're probably going to try to throw the book at her when it comes to these conditions, okay? So they can't control her freedom, right? Well, not control. They can't deny her freedom, but they can definitely control it. And that's what they are likely to do, all right? So that's what we're looking at right here. We're looking at on Monday, like I said, she's gonna get out either Monday or Tuesday. And the reason why I say it might be beyond Monday, because she's gonna have to sign paperwork and stuff like that or whatever, and I'm sure an attorney will as well, on all of these conditions, right? The judge is going to go over them. You can't do this, you can't do that. You can't do this, you can't do that. You must do this, you must do that. You must do this, you must do that. And then I'm sure they will have to process that paperwork before they allow her to leave. Because if I'm not mistaken, she will probably have to leave with that paperwork in her hand. Okay. So it may not be, okay, her court is at what, 9 o'clock? Let me see. I think it's at 9. So if it's at 9, she might not leave until later, like maybe even, I don't know, the next day. Hell. Okay. Probably the next day. I don't know. So that's where we are right now. Okay. She said, even home confinement, trust me, the family will make a lot of creative family fun nights and shenanigans. Yes, I'm sure they will. I'm sure they will. I'm sure they're going to be loving all over her. She said, but Auntie Ari cite a case where that guy went to a football game and killed somebody, and he was let out with no conditions, just saying it's a possibility. It is a possibility. You're right, Courtney. But for some reason, I think the state and the judge of the circuit court right now, I think they're kind of adamant about thinking that she is of some type of danger, right? So I think that they're going to try to push for some conditions here. You know what I mean? And then another, I understand what you're saying. It is a possibility that he's released, or she's released with no conditions. But I think that I'm seeing something here, especially from the state, how hard they're pushing and stuff like that. It makes me think that they have some type of personal interest in this. I know it sounds kind of crazy. They probably just doing their damn job. But I just really think that that is something else there that's going on. Now, I don't know if because they're receiving pressure from somewhere else, or, I don't know, but I just think that they're not going to allow her to walk out with no conditions. But it is possible. And if it is, that would be great. But I mean, I just don't think so. Now I wonder, you know what? I got a question to ask it. Hold on, y'all. This is a good one. Hold on one second. Okay, so I asked it a question now. I don't know if y'all thought about this, but I thought about it, well, just now anyway. So I asked, I said, since Carlos is witness number 1, will she be prohibited from being around him even though they have a child together and they are in a relationship? So let's see what it says. Who wants to know before I play it? Let me know. Raise your hand if you want to know whether or not she will be prohibited from being around Carlos. Because who thought about that? Who has thought about that? Who has thought about that? Cookie said, me. You want to know? You the only one want to know? I got 300 sets of eyes in here. Y'all hit that thumbs up button for your girl. Come on. Y'all come through now. Come through. Hit that thumbs up button for your girl. Okay, so Embedded in His Soul said, I thought about this last night. Yolanda said, me, I want to know. Lolita said, I thought about that, and she probably will. She probably will what? Be prohibited, or she probably will be able to. Which one, Lolita? So let's listen. Is down on paper. It's on paper right now anyway. As being a witness. Will she be prohibited from being around him. Okay? All right, let's listen. Because it says, let's go back up. It says right here about the restraining order, it says, hold on. It says she will absolutely have a no contact order in place, and she will be required to report to pretrial services on a regular basis. And in cases like this, okay, firearm restrictions. What does it say about being around the witnesses? Oh, right here. It says no contact orders. She will not be allowed to have any contact with witnesses, the victim's family, or anyone connected to the case. Okay, so now let's listen. Let's listen to what they say. Hold on, here we go.
Here's the smooth read. Now let's talk about a very specific question that a lot of people are wondering about, and that is whether she would be prohibited from being around Carlos, especially considering that he is her child's father and they are in a relationship. The short answer is, it depends on his role in the case. If Carlos is considered a witness in this case, the court has to be very careful. One of the main goals of pretrial conditions is to protect the integrity of the case, which includes preventing any possibility of witness influence, coaching, or coordination of testimony. So if the state identifies Carlos as a key witness, especially someone they expect to testify about what happened, the court could impose a no contact order, and that would include him, regardless of their relationship.
Damn.
Now, that does not mean it automatically happens in every situation. Courts do recognize family relationships, especially when there's a shared child involved. So sometimes, instead of a full no contact order, the judge may allow limited or structured contact. That could look like communication only about the child, contact through a third party, or specific guidelines that prevent any discussion of the case itself. But here is the reality. In a case like this, especially a first-degree murder case, the court is going to lean toward protecting the case over protecting the relationship. So if Carlos is a material witness, there is a strong possibility that some form of restriction will be put in place. It may be full no contact, or it may be limited contact with strict boundaries, but the court is not going to leave that open and unrestricted. On the other hand, if Carlos is not a witness, or if his involvement in the case is minimal, then it is much less likely that the court would interfere with that relationship at all. So the key factor here is not the relationship. The key factor is his role in the case. If he is a witness, especially an important one, the court is going to prioritize the case. If he is not, then the court is more likely to allow that relationship to continue without restriction. And that is how the judge is going to look at it.
What's y'all take? What's your take? What is your take on that? What is your take? What is your take? She said, did the state say that he was a credible witness already? They did. Okay, they did. What if the state has already kind of leaned toward him not being a credible source? The circuit judge kind of made mention in one of the court dates that he's not going to rely heavily on witness number one, which is Carlos' testimony, because, he was a biased witness, in this case. So tell me what you think about that. Hold on. I'm talking to my little boyfriend over here, y'all. I got to name him. I got to name him something. Oh. And then let me add something. Furthermore, Carlos is the only one that's saying that Romika was the aggressor and that it was self-defense. Okay, so Carlos is actually not for the state. He's actually going against what the state is saying. Okay, I just wanted to add that. All right, so I'm gonna have both of them read out, okay? It's gonna be two different ones. Let's listen to the first one.
Here's a smooth read you can use. Now, this changes the conversation a little bit because the court has already signaled how it views Carlos. If the circuit judge has already stated on the record that they are not going to rely heavily on his testimony because he is considered a biased witness, that matters a lot. What that tells us is that the court does not see him as a strong, independent, or neutral source of information. Instead, they see him as someone whose testimony may be influenced by his personal relationship with her. And in a case like this, bias does not automatically disqualify a witness, but it does affect how much weight the court gives their statements. Now, when it comes to pretrial release conditions, the judge is not just thinking about credibility. The judge is thinking about risk of witness interference, risk of coordination, and risk of the integrity of the case being compromised. So even though the court may not view Carlos as highly credible, they still have to consider the fact that he is connected to the case and could potentially be influenced or could influence the narrative. But here is where it leans in her favor. If the judge already views him as biased and not heavily relied upon, that reduces the likelihood that the court will impose a strict, full, no contact order between them. Because from the court's perspective, he is not a critical witness whose testimony needs to be protected at all costs. Instead, the court may take a more balanced approach. They could allow contact, especially given that they share a child, but with clear boundaries. For example, they may prohibit any discussion of the case or limit communication to personal or family matters only. In some situations, the court may not impose any restriction at all if they believe his role in the case is minimal and his credibility is already weakened. So when you look at the full picture, his bias actually works in her favor when it comes to this specific issue. The court is less likely to go out of its way to separate them completely if it does not view him as a key, reliable witness in the first place. At the end of the day, the judge is going to focus on protecting the case. And if they do not see him as central to the case, then they are less likely to impose strict restrictions on that relationship.
Okay. So that's that one. Now I literally just told it, Carlos is the only independent witness that's saying that Romika was the aggressor. Let's listen up.
Here's a smooth read you can use. Now, this is an important clarification because it actually shifts how the court is likely looking at Carlos. If Carlos is the one saying that Romika was the aggressor and that this was self-defense, then he is not a state witness in the traditional sense. He is not helping the prosecution. If anything, his testimony supports the defense.
Right.
So now the question becomes, how does the court treat someone like that when it comes to release conditions? First, even though he may not be aligned with the state, he is still a witness, and the court still has a responsibility to protect the integrity of the case overall. That means the judge cannot completely ignore the possibility of influence, especially when there is a close personal relationship involved. But here is where it leans even more in her favor. When a witness is already aligned with the defense, the concern is not that she is going to
What about now? Can y'all hear me now? Let me know if y'all can hear me now. It looks like it went to my phone for some reason. I'm not sure why. Let me know if you guys can hear me now. Oh, you can hear me? Okay. All right. Sorry about that, you guys. It went to my phone. I'm not sure what happened. Okay, hold on. Let me just read the last little bit. So it says, it says what the court is more likely to do if they address it at all, right? Is set boundaries rather than outright separation. That could include something like no discussion of the case. So they're going to say, hey, when y'all bedroom talking, don't talk about the case, while still allowing them to maintain their relationship and co-parent together. And in some situations, the court may not impose any restrictions at all. If they determine that his testimony is already discount and does not need to be protected in the same way a key state witness testimony needs to be protected. So in this scenario, Carlos being a defense-leaning biased witness actually works in her favor when it comes to whether the courts will interfere in that relationship. At the end of the day, the judge is looking at risks. And based on everything here, the risk tied to Carlos is relatively low compared to other potential witnesses in the case. Meaning that Carlos is not going to change anything that he has already said by talking to Holly, okay? She's not going to be influenced. She's not going to be able to influence him on changing what he says because he's already saying that she was not at fault. Do you understand what I'm saying? So the reason they wouldn't want them two being together is if he was testifying against her. But the fact that he's already saying she was in the right and Romika was in the wrong, so to speak, then whatever Holly is, Holly ain't gonna be able to put that thing on him or whatever and change his, how he views it, what he already done said, okay? She says, I want Holly to be very low-key. Don't speak to any blogs. Don't interview with anyone. Speak only to her immediate family and her lawyers. People can twist her words, and she will be watched very closely. I agree. No interviews, none of that or whatever until after she wins, okay? After she totally wins, whenever it's going to be in 2027, all right? Once she wins the case, baby, I want to interview. I want to interview. Okay. She said, yep, Holly needs to be private. No social media, nothing. Exactly. Because, in my opinion, they're going to harass the dog shit out of her. So if it was me and, I would just, say to Holly, don't even get on the internet because it's going to disturb her peace. I would not read anything that's on the internet, because people are going to be spazzing out the way they already, y'all have seen people spazz out for the last couple of days, like literally screaming to the top of their lungs. I even got a message today where someone said that is a comment that somebody put on there. They said that, matter of fact, let me show you. Well, I'll just tell you. But basically the comment said she's not going to be able to own a, she's not going to be able to possess a GUN. Go pew pew her. Go get her is what they said. Go get her. So already we know that some of the people that supports Romika, okay, are bullies, even though they may call other people bullies. They're very much bullies. They're crashing out. They're sad because they came out here screaming to the top of their lungs that she was never going to get out ever. And they were just absolutely wrong, okay? But they don't hold no accountability to themselves, and they can't just come out here and say, okay, we just got it wrong. We got it wrong. We thought that she wasn't going to get out, but she did. We didn't know the law. We thought we knew the law. We tried to, tell our audience we knew the law, okay? But obviously we did not know the law, and we got it wrong, okay? She wasn't talking about the case before her arrest. Trust me, Holly knows better. Okay, good. Thanks, Tammy. Thank you, baby. She cannot speak about the case at all while she's on that GPS monitor. That GPS has microphones and speakers inside of them, and they can listen to your conversation. So let me ask you something about that GPS monitor. I know this might be a dumbass question, but do she take it off when she get ready to bathe? Or have sex? Because I know they ain't about to sit there and listen to her have sex. I ain't trying to have nothing on me that you can hear what the hell I got to say, because, honey, I'm going to give you an earful. You hear me? I hope that she could take it off or turn it off or something while she's in her residence. He needs to stop talking to people. Who is he? Oh, Carlos? Oh, he needs to stop talking to people. They mad at you or more just for reading the court documents and having your opinion. They are mad at me, but not just for reading the court documents. Baby, they mad at me because they don't like the fact that I'm winning. You know what I'm saying? They can't take my wins. I've been winning for almost 3 damn years, and they just can't take it. Some of these people just cannot take my wins, and some of these people are straight up as narcissists, okay? And they are dealing with narcissistic injuries, all right? That's why they're spazzing out every single day. Got your girl name all in their esophagus, goggling my name, you know what I'm saying? Slandering me and all that stuff, baby. They are dealing with narcissistic injuries, but they'll be all right. They need to just go eat some plums, sit down, and they'll be just fine, okay? She said, no, you cannot take it off. Oh, you can't take it off? Damn. She said, no, she has to bathe with it on. Oh, damn. Oh, shit. I might have to have somebody come pickpocket that joker or whatever and just take it off for a moment. I don't, ooh, child, baby. Well, I would definitely give them an earful. Whoever's on duty, baby, they will get an earful every night. I will make sure of it. If I had an ankle bracelet on, I would make sure of it every night. They will get an earful. You hear me? I'll be speaking in Spanish. Comolita, quiero te tose, puta pupa in the pupe, and yeah, dicke, yeah, feeling good, yeah, baby, see totorita, yeah, bring me over, smack me asa, listen, I would get him a motherfucking earful every night, you hear me? Don't play with me. I'm going to give you something for you to really listen in on, you know? And they're like, ooh, I got duty tonight. I got duty tonight, baby. I want to listen to this GPS, okay? But nevertheless, she definitely carried herself. She definitely carried herself well during this whole ordeal. She has. She absolutely has, you know? Because, I will probably be spazzing out, so I'm just glad that she's going to be able to come home and be loved on. That's the most important thing that I'm happy for, that she's going to be loved on, because she needs to be loved on. She does not deserve to be in there, you know? And for the people that was calling her all type of derogatory names, calling her hoes, I just don't understand how a hoe can call a hoe. But baby, honey, that's a whole nother subject. You hear me? How a hoe call a hoe? Ooh, child. Listen, when you a documented hoe. Anyway, baby, y'all ain't, let me just drink my water right quick. Hold on. Water tastes so good. I just don't understand. A lot of people was calling her all type of derogatory names and whatnot. Yeah. But anyway, I'm just glad that she's able to come home. And I hope that, eventually we can show her some love. I want to actually show 2 people some love on this channel. Y'all just let me know. Well, I got to figure out what day we're going to do it. I definitely want to show Brianna some love, because I'm so fucking proud of Brianna from getting the hell out of Atlanta, where she had no family, and she is now in North Carolina around family that love her, friends that love her. Oh my God, the sound of her voice is just peace, baby. You hear me? I love it. I can just hear the calm over her. So I want to have a virtual housewarming party for Brianna, but I will also like to have a coming home virtual party for Holly as well. So I just got to figure out the dates that we're going to do this, but I want us to pour into 2 people, Brianna one day and Holly another day. Okay. So if you don't mind digging down in your little change pocket or whatever, and as many of us that's in here, even if it's $2, $5, whatever, you can afford or whatever, or if you a big baller, because I got some big ballers, if you want to do more, you can definitely do more. But even if, just 2, 5, whatever, 10, and I just want us to pour into them. Okay. We know that Holly has been displaced, and she's been gone for almost 5 months. So I'm sure she got bills galore, all, backed up and shit. They probably done turned off her phone and all other kind of stuff or whatever. And I would like for us to just pour into her. And as far as Brianna, when you move, you already know that costs a lot of money. But I'm just glad she's gone, because one of the things that she said to me was, leaving make it easier for her to disconnect. And baby, honey, woo, child, I can dance, because she don't need to be with none of them losers. But that's a whole nother live, okay? She don't need to be with none of them damn losers or whatever, Anyway, so we're just glad that she's out of Dodge. And we women, a lot of us are women in here. I know we have several men, but y'all know sometimes out of sight, out of mind. Y'all know we know what's not good for us, but we will run back to that what's not good because it's familiar to us and it's within hand reach. You know what I'm saying? And that may even been Romika problem. Romika probably wanted to break away from Carlos, right? But you can't when they are in hand's reach, you know? So maybe she should have left. Maybe she should have left or something. I don't know. Everybody is not strong enough to literally leave. They're not. They're not strong enough to say, I'm done and stay away. We'll say it. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. But then, you know, we start getting a little, you know, start feeling a little way, start getting a little hot down there or whatever. And then they just so happen to call us and we be thinking, well, you know, just one more time, just one more time, just one more time. And then we get caught up, right? We get caught up. So with that being said, you know, I'm just glad to see a woman stand on business and leave when they know that it's no longer good for them. It's no longer serve them, you know? When the relationship is no longer good and it no longer serve you, you really need to leave. Y'all, listen, some people run to another state. Hell, some people run to the military, okay? Stop playing. Stop playing. Some people run to the military, but some people will leave. They will leave. They will leave the state because they know if they're there, they're gonna get back together. So anyway, y'all already know what it is. Y'all don't know what it is. These relationships out here are hard, okay? So again, this is not, and this live and any live that I'm doing or whatever is not never to say that we are happy about someone's death. Don't let no other channel or no blogger lie to y'all, okay? Don't let them lie to you and tell y'all that Amora is happy that Romika is unalive. That's not true at all. I don't know her to be happy that she's unalive. Actually, I'm not happy about anybody dying except for bugs or mosquitoes and ants and shit. They could die. But as far as a human, I'm not happy about anybody passing of life, right? So don't let no one put that bullshit in your head. It'll be people out here slandering and lying, but that's what they're good at. That's the only thing they're good at. They know that's the only thing that's going to keep an audience, all right? So with that being said, I'm not happy that she's gone, but I still remain steadfast in saying that I feel like none of this would have happened if she would not have made that U-turn and pulled up that day, okay? I think that she literally should have just left, just moved on. If she knew that, if she felt like Carlos wasn't going to be faithful to her or wasn't going to be with her forever, sometimes we got to just cut our losses and leave. My grandmother once told me, if a man don't want to be with you, then what you going to do? Force him? If he don't want you, then go find somebody that does, right? Go find somebody that does. Don't be with somebody that don't want to be with you. If somebody want to leave, let them leave. Let them walk. Y'all remember TD Jakes, what he say? What TD Jakes say? If somebody want to walk out your life, let them walk. We got to learn to do that. And Romika was not an unattractive woman. She could have had other guys. And from my knowledge, she did. But, I don't know. I could sit here and talk all day long. I just wish somebody, maybe i.e. her family, i.e. the ones that's out here running from panel to panel to panel, it would have been helpful if they would have taken her and loved on her and embraced her while she was live and instilled in her that you do not need to be with someone that don't want to be with you, okay? So while they're out here barking now, rah, 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 and that's what happens while we out here doing the most now. If they would have done the most when they should have, they too could have possibly prevented something like this, okay? So it's easier to point the finger at the other person, right? It's easy to point the finger all at Holly right now, and that's because they don't want to take responsibility of what they saw brewing, right? Let's be honest. They saw this brewing. They knew her behavior, right? Somebody should have whispered in her ear, baby girl, you deserve better. You deserve better. You don't need to be chasing nobody, going after the female or this, that, and the other. From my knowledge, just from the behaviors that I've seen out here on social media and down at the courthouse that day, To me, they encouraged the behavior. They encouraged the behavior. They didn't try to prevent it. They encouraged it. So the reason why they are going from chat to chat to chat to chat to chat to chat now and beating up their community walls and beating up their Facebook pages is because there is a level of guilt, okay? Like, let's just keep it above. Is a level of guilt because they didn't do anything back then to prevent something like this, okay? As we get older, we might be a feisty individual when we're in school, high school, elementary school, grade school. But as we get older, we know better. And when we know better, we do better, okay? She was old enough to know better, which means that she should have been doing better, right? So with that being said, somebody could have taken her by her hand, told her, baby, you know what? You are worth way more than this, honey. Way more than this. Now, it's up to us older women to pour into our youth and let them know, baby, fix your crown. Don't let somebody knock that crown off of your head. Fix your crown. We're not pressed over a man. We're not fighting another woman over a man. Honey, we move over bacon and here comes sizzling. We let the new woman have our old issues, our old problems, honey. We say, okay, you know what? I couldn't get him to do right. Maybe she could, okay? Maybe she can, all right? Maybe she can. Sometimes we got to move out the way. And we got to let that problem be somebody else's problem. And then sit back and allow God to send you your blessing. But how is he going to send you a blessing or send you your blessing when you trying to hold on to your problem? Your problem. If you guys are not on the same level, if you want something and that person doesn't want it, you guys are not aligned, sometimes it's best to just disconnect. Totally disconnect. So, I'm saying this to say, if she had someone that was knowledgeable enough and that loved on her enough, they should have informed her of this. Okay? They should have said, baby girl, know your worth. Self-love, honey, know your worth. Know your worth. All right? So anyway, it's easy to point fingers now. It's easy to point fingers now, but when you point a finger, how many fingers are pointing right back at you? It's a hard pill to swallow. I'm sure they don't want to admit it, but eventually they will have to. They would have to. Okay? So with that being said, yeah. Holly's coming home, you guys. Holly's coming home. Let me read some of your messages. She says Ari has to argue that in court they have kids in common and one on the way. Oh, okay. Maria must be behind a little bit. The internet ate me up when I said, considering the facts that she made a U-turn, she made a critical and vital decision to engage. That's what the courts will see. The internet ate you up because they don't want to accept that. Who knew to you? They don't want to accept that. They don't want to, and then they tried to make it seem like, oh, she busted Yui just because she wanted to talk to Carlos and Holly jumped in or whatever. Well, even the state know that shit ain't true. Even the state knows that shit is not true. All of these scenarios that were pushed out here before, even the state knows it's not true. They know it's not true. They know that she came because she saw Holly. It says she got out of the car and they engaged in an argument. Right away it says that. Right away it says they engaged in an argument. Okay? Holly and Romika, not Romika and Carlos. So they even know that she busted Yui to pull up to speak to Holly. Period. Okay? If she was supposed to be on her way to work, we don't even know if she was or not, but if she was supposed to be on her way to work or school or wherever she was on her way to, why stop and pull over in a busy street to talk to your baby daddy when you could have called him on the phone? Or you could have called him later. She pulled up for one reason only is because she saw Holly. And she saw Holly with Carlos. Period. It is what it is. So, they may try to twist, turn, and do everything they possibly can try, but I'm telling you, it's not going to work. Not going to work. So, but the case still remains. We have to just sit here and wait. You know, I'm not going to 1,000% say that she's going to be found not guilty. But what I will say, and this is my opinion, y'all know I can voice my opinion on my channel. I do not see no way that the courts, the state will be able to prove beyond a reasonable doubt. And you got to understand, beyond a reasonable doubt, that this was not self-defense, okay? Now, what I learned through my research, it has to be beyond reasonable doubt. That's one. But if there's two ways, if there's more than one, so two ways to come up with the same scenario, then she will get acquitted. Because there only could be one way. One way. So if Ari way is convincible and the state is convincible, just like at the appellate court, you got one judge saying, no, I believe it happened this way. Then you got another judge saying, no, I believe it happened this way. Already there's reasonable doubt in this case just by the appellate court's ruling. Not the ruling, but the fact that one didn't agree with the two. That's already reasonable doubt there. Only one way can work. One way. One scenario. Meaning, was Holly the aggressor or was Romika the aggressor? Was there a fight? Was there not a fight? Did she rush Holly or did she not rush Holly? It can't be two different ways. So two ways, she would be acquitted. So the state, and that burden is on the state. The state have to create a clear path that everybody see that this was intentional murder. Intentional murder beyond a reasonable doubt. And that it was not self-defense. That she was not defending herself. It's no way. Yesterday, or should I say 2 days ago when the appellate court wrote, he added another layer. For those that did not hear my live yesterday, hold on one second. For those that did not hear my live yesterday, there's another layer added onto it. So not only did she not start the confrontation, not only are they saying that she didn't start the confrontation, she had a restraining order in place for Romika to stay away. Romika drove up on her as she was minding her business. Romika was in the car but got out the car and rushed toward her, okay? Blocked her in. Let's not forget that. She blocked her in. Holly has her baby there. And then the appellate court added that Holly was with child. Was with child inside her belly on September the 8th at the time of the incident. Look at all of these. Oh, and the threats of, I'm going to KI you. I'm going to KI you when I see you. It's on site, right? All of these threats, the restraining order, pulling up on her, rushing her, blocking her in, baby in her stomach, baby in the car. Do I need to continue? Do I need to continue? So it will be very hard, an uphill battle for the state to be able to say this was not self-defense. How the hell? You got to knock all of those down. You got to knock that she was afraid for her life down. You got to knock each one of them down. How is that going to happen? How are you going to be able to knock all those down? 6-month-old child in the car, pregnant at the time, blocked in. She already done threatened to kill me. I got a restraining order. Do you understand what I'm saying? Come on, somebody. She rushed me. All of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, all these different reasons. The state will have to knock all those down. I don't see it. So already the appellate court is showing reasonable doubt. You got a whole judge. Judges go to school. You got a whole judge that agree with the state. And then you got 2 whole judges that agrees with Mrs. Johnson. Now, they don't agree with Mrs. Johnson as far as whether she's guilty or not, but they explain the background of it, how they saw it, how they see it in their minds, okay? Their opinion. In their opinion, they think Holly is not a danger because she did not start the confrontation, that Romika started the confrontation. And right there starts self-defense. That starts self-defense. The fact that Romika rolled up on them, that starts the self-defense. Right there alone. Right there alone, that starts the self-defense. So with that being said, y'all, listen. I'm not going to say 1,000% because I told y'all I'm not going to do that anymore because I have to come out here and eat crow. But in my hearts of hearts and just following this case, I do not see a clear pathway for the state. Now, again, I've always said that I'm not talking from an emotional standpoint, right? I'm only talking from a legal standpoint. I know a lot of people talk from an emotional standpoint and say, but she didn't have to do that. But we're not talking about what she had to do because self-defense is not perfect. Okay? Self-defense is not perfect. There may be quick reactions, quick, thinking this, thinking that, thinking this, or whatever. So what I'm saying is, I'm not speaking from a lot of people speak from an emotional standpoint. I'm not speaking from an emotional standpoint. I'm talking law. Law. So per the law, Holly did what she was supposed to do. Per the law. Per the law, Holly did what she was supposed to do. So we'll see in 2027 how that's going to turn out. But in my opinion, I do believe that the state has an uphill battle. I heard several times, oh, the state got a clear-cut case. It's clear, it's cut, it's dry. How? How? No, ma'am. No, ma'am, it's not clear-cut. It's absolutely not clear-cut. So, and I'm not saying it's clear-cut for Holly, but in my opinion, is more likely is more likely in Holly's favor right now because already, matter of fact, I want y'all to hear it for yourself. Hold on a second. Give me 1 second. Well, we're about to pause for the cause because my big sis said the goal is met, you guys. First of all, before we play this song, before we celebrate for you guys blessing my channel, let me just say this. You guys are absolutely amazing. And let me just say this before I play the song. Thank you. From the bottom of my heart, thank you. And the reason why I'm saying it, because you guys are pouring into me with real content, not bashing somebody's hair, they feet, they toes, they damn teeth, they mouth, they ass, whether they have sex with their husband or not. You guys are blessing me. You guys just blessed me with $55 super chats. That is a blessing. And I just want to say thank you. Thank you for allowing me to come on here and still be blessed without the drama. I appreciate you guys to the fullest. Let's celebrate, celebrate, celebrate now.
Go, yeah, it's up now. Big super chest, hit up, cash sound, screen say go. That's facts now. Run it up right now. Go, yeah, it's up now. Big super chest. Get up, cash sound, screen, say go. That's facts now. Run it up right now. Go, yeah, it's up now. Big super chats. Get up,
Thank y'all. Thank y'all. Thank y'all. Once again, thank y'all. Thank y'all. Thank y'all. I do appreciate it so very much. So let's continue. So we are about to hear whether or not there is reasonable doubt right now, so far in this case. And I'm going to do this periodically. While we cover this case, I am going to ask, so far in this case, is there reasonable doubt? Because I want to know when the state is going to get rid of the reasonable doubt. When is the state going to get rid of the reasonable doubt? When? Because right now it's full of reasonable doubt. Absolutely. Let's go.
Here's a smooth, clear read you can use. Now let's talk about this idea of reasonable doubt, because this is where a lot of people start mixing stages of the case. Reasonable doubt is a trial standard. That is the burden the state has to meet in front of a jury at the very end of the case in order to get a conviction. At this stage, we are not at trial. We are in the pretrial phase. So technically, the court is not deciding whether there is reasonable doubt yet. What the court is deciding right now is something different. The question is whether the state has enough to justify keeping her in jail before trial, and whether they have shown that she is a real and present threat or a flight risk. Now, with that being said, even though the court is not using the words reasonable doubt, the strength or weakness of the state's case still matters. It absolutely comes into play. When an appellate court steps in and overturns a detention decision, what they are really saying is that the state did not meet its burden at this stage. They are saying the evidence presented does not justify holding her without release. That does not mean she is innocent, and it does not mean the case is over. But it does tell you something important.
What's that?
It tells you that the state's case, at least as it stands right now, is not so strong and clear-cut
You better
that it
say
justifies the most extreme measure, which is holding her in jail before trial. So when people ask, is there reasonable doubt right now? The honest answer is this. We are not officially at the point where reasonable doubt is being decided. But yes, there are signs of weakness, conflict, and competing narratives in the case. You have differing accounts of what happened. You have questions about who the aggressor was. You have issues with witness credibility. And you have an appellate court that was not convinced the state met its burden. All of those things are the types of issues that later on at trial can turn into reasonable doubt in the eyes of a jury. So while no one can say that reasonable doubt has been legally established yet, what we can say is this. This is not a clean, one-sided case. There are cracks in the state's presentation at this stage. And those cracks are exactly the kind of things a defense would build on to argue reasonable doubt when this case finally goes to trial. That is where things stand right now.
Baby, y'all hear that? Do y'all hear that? So, we heard several times, oh, the state case is strong. It's strong. They got all this evidence. All this evidence. Oh, it's just so much evidence. It's evidence. It's evidence. Oh, the state got evidence. The state got evidence. Oh, the state got evidence. Oh, the state standing on business. The state doing their thing. Oh, the state, it's strong. It's so strong. No. And we was like, strong where? Strong where? How is their case strong? Their star witness is seen on tape, on video record, far, far away from the crime scene. But all of a sudden she saw A through Z? Come on. Come on. This is not one-sided. It is not a clear-cut win for the state. Now, I'm not saying it's a clear-cut win for self-defense, but baby, it's leaning more self-defense-ness. Okay? We smell more self-defense than we do first-degree murder. Okay? First-degree murder. So, again, the appellate court, even with their own ruling, they're saying the state failed at this stage. But they went in there chest out, right? Head up, chest out, poking out. Oh, and let me tell you something. The second denial of detention release, baby, that made everybody think that the case was done. And it ain't even started, really. But they literally was like, oh, She guilty. She guilty. She guilty. She guilty. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. They got it wrong. This happens. They got it wrong. People were beating up their community walls, putting, the judge said it was daylight outside. The judge said that it was around children. It was the school. They were saying all of this, and the appellate court said, what? Nah, y'all ain't proved nothing. Pipe down. Pipe down. Y'all ain't proved nothing. Y'all didn't prove. You didn't prove nothing. You failed to prove, actually. I love that word. Failed to prove. They failed to prove it. Right? So just because a judge sided, two judges actually at the time, sided with the state, if we want to call it the lower courts, just because the judges at the lower court decided with the state, the prosecutor, does not mean that the case was locked, that it was solid. I never saw it solid. I was literally like, where's this evidence y'all say is gonna nail her to the cross? Where is the evidence? And guess what we heard? If she innocent, why she locked up? If she's so innocent, why she locked up? If she didn't do it, why she locked up? Baby, are we gonna hear that after next week? Are we going to hear, well, if she innocent, why she locked up? Well, if she innocent, you know what we should start saying? Well, if she guilty, why she free? Let me type that right quick. Hold on. Hey, that's what we need to start saying. Because for the last 4 months, we've heard, if she's innocent, why is she locked up? If she innocent, why she locked up? If she innocent, why she locked up? If she innocent, why she locked up? Well, if she guilty, then why she ain't free? I mean, why she free? If she guilty, why is she free? Hold on, let me close these windows, y'all. Somebody just drove by looking in. Hold on, y'all. Okay. If she is guilty, why she free? Okay, why is she free? Why is she free? Right? They're not gonna like that. And I'm not telling you guys to fight with any of the Ramika supporters. To be honest with you, I actually think it's clueless at this point to fight with them. And the reason being is because I just believe that they are very emotional, very, very emotional. And this is beyond, in my opinion, this is beyond justice for Ramika. This has been placed in a competition box, okay? They are literally in competition. They believe something and they don't want to steer from that. They don't want to not believe what they believe, right? They want to carry it all the way out. Sometimes when people do this and they get so emotionally involved, the writing can be on the wall and they will still say it doesn't say what the hell it say. I want to read to you what this one lady wrote. Hold on. I think her name is, let me see. Oh, here you go, right here. I want to read you this. I know she's a Ramika supporter, but I want to read what she wrote because she's a Ramika supporter, but she even questioned whether or not things were, things are being told. Hold on. She's not that bright. Hold on. Let me get to the part where she I know you got it in here because I saw it. Let me see. Because I read it. She posts a lot. Hold on. Let me get to the one that she did the other day. Oh, that was yesterday, so it had to be the day before yesterday. Hold on, you guys. I honestly think a lot of people got obsessed with Romika looks, and they were like, "Oh my gosh, she's just so pretty. She's so pretty. She's just so beautiful." And then they just forgot all about anything else. You know, they was just so obsessed with her looks. All right, so we're gonna put this lady's post up. Oh, it's so small. Let me see if I can just crop it in. I want to read what she wrote. Because it sounds to me that she may even be questioning whether the state overreached or do they have the information they claim they have. Okay, let's put it up right quick. As a Ramika supporter. All right, here we go. So she says Khadijah Holly Johnson is being released. Today, the appellate court came back with a decision that has left Romika supporters wondering what's really going on. They decided to overturn the decision for pretrial release and kick it back to the lower court. They cite that there is insufficient evidence for that ruling and that the defendant is with child and needs to be home to prepare for her birth. And to top things off, that she needs to be released so that she can aid her attorney, Ari Williams, with preparation for trial. Now, let's be clear that this does not mean that she is getting out. It does mean that it's not as cut and dry as we thought. Why'd you think that? Why'd you think that, Kimberly? I thought, as many of us did, that the appeal was just a formality, providing that her attorney was doing her job, never even considering that her being released was a real possibility. Like, they literally thought this girl wasn't going to ever see the day of light again, right? Did the defense submit new evidence that the lower court was not aware of? Did a new witness come forward? What happened is my question. The defendant unalived Romika Blackman at 9 a.m. in front of her son's school on September the 8th of 2025 in front of witnesses while Romika was unarmed. Pretty cut and dry, right? I'm just hoping that Judge Clancy is legally able to stand on the proffer stated in previous court documents that the defendant is a danger to society and a real threat to witnesses and should not be released. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Holly supporters, don't be so quick to celebrate. She's still not released and a final determination hasn't been made. So when I read this, I said, I wonder how many others thought the exact same thing. There's no way she's going to be released. This is a cut and dry case. Come on, you guys. Please let me know in the comments, did y'all really think this was a cut and dry case? Did y'all think the states had it in the bag? Or did y'all know from the get-go, or after, we start finding out a little bit more, that the state had an uphill battle? Have we not been screaming that? The state has an uphill battle. How did they think that this was cut and dry? You want me to tell you? Because they've been listening to content creators that's been telling them that. They've been listening to content creators that's been telling them this is cut and dry. The state case is strong. The state case is so strong. There's no way she's getting out. She'll never get out. They've been listening and believing that. So this lady, to me, sounds taken back. She sounds shocked. Put down in the comments to me, please, in the comments. How does this post reads to you? Confused, shocked, delusional. Tell me one word what this supporter of Romika, what does she sound like? After hearing what she posts, what does she sound like that she's going through right now? Confusion, delusion, shock, hurt. Somebody said crazy. Misinformed, willfully ignorance. Like she literally said, I thought this was a cut and dry case. She wants to know, is there evidence that they have not been privy to? Because they've been listening to one side. Deceit. Ooh, girl, you said that. Deceived. She sounds deceived. Deceived because she's been listening to one side. One side has been telling her she's not getting out. This is cut and dry. The state case is strong. They got 15 more witnesses and all type of bullshit. They got evidence. They got evidence. They got evidence, 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 evidence. So now she is wondering, does the defense, did the defense submit new evidence? Did a new witness come forward? She said, what happened is my question. She said, I thought this was pretty cut and dry. I wonder how many other people thought that this was a pretty cut and dry case. This was not cut and dry, but deceived. She sounds deceived. She sounds like, did I miss something? Did I miss something? Yeah, you did. You missed the fact that the states don't really have evidence. That's what you missed. The state relied solely on witness statements. Majority, should I say? I'm not gonna say solely, but majority on witness statements. So anyway, I kind of read this and I was just like, I kind of read this and I was just like, how did she miss this? How did she think for a moment that this was cut and dry? So she's wondering, how in the world can the appellate court say that she's not a danger to a person or to the community? Right? Because in her eyes, and obviously more people that think like her eyes, she thought that Holly was a cold-blooded murderer. Because that's how they painted her out here on social media, as a cold-blooded murderer. So anyway, I just thought I would read that to you because I believe that a lot more of Romika supporters feel this exact same way. What happened? But what they should do is go back to the content creator in which they were listening to, and they should say, wait a minute. Were you telling us the truth? Were you telling us everything was true? Right? So with that being said, I just find it interesting that there are people out there that really, really thought that Holly was this cold-blooded murderer. She had no regards to life. And that, matter of fact, let's listen to her 4-minute rant. It's the same lady. I have not heard this right here, but I'm curious to hear what she has to say because she's shaking her head. Okay, let's listen to what this lady has to say. Same lady, Kimberly James.
Y'all are not going to believe this. The appellate court in the case of Quadasia Holly Johnson for the first degree alignment of Romika Blackman last year on September 8, 2025, the appellate court has reversed the pre-trial release decision that the lower court means. Now, that doesn't mean that she's out, and that doesn't mean that she's getting out. What they're saying is they're going to kick it back to the lower court because they think that maybe that was too harsh. And the biggest reason is because she is still with child. And so I don't even understand that because you know how many women have children in jail or prison every day?
I really wonder what made them zoom in on the child, the pregnancy thing. What made them zoom in on that and skip all the other shit that the judge said? The judges said. They literally They literally just skip straight down. Maybe, okay, you know what? Maybe because that's the last thing that the judge said. Maybe that's the last thing that the judge said, and they focus on that because, baby, it's given, god damn, right?
Child. And so I would even understand that because you know how many women have children in jail or prison every day? What makes her so special? I don't know. And it says also in the court records, which I'm going to do an actual post about that, so she can help prepare for her case with her attorney. So what's going to happen is that it's going back to the lower court for reconsideration, saying that they don't even think that the evidence supports her not being able to qualify for pretrial release. Y'all, I don't know what's going on right now. I really don't know, because how in the world do you pew unalive someone that is unarmed at 9 o'clock in the morning across from a school in front of witnesses, and you didn't, and they're reconsidering letting you out? What happened to all the proffers where she was a danger to society? Where did all that go? I mean, did the appellate?
The state was wrong. That's what happened. They were wrong. They failed to prove it. You can say anything, Kimberly, but you got to prove what it is that you say. Your state attorney failed to prove it. That's what happened.
Court get information that the lower court didn't have evidence? Because they're not, I mean, did they I can't even talk. Did they present new evidence that the lower court?
I want to hear that again.
Where did all that go? I mean, did the appellate court get information that the lower court didn't have evidence? Because they're not, I mean, did they I can't even talk. Did they present new evidence that the lower court did not have to even reconsider it and kick it back down to the lower court? Now it's going back to Judge Lancey. I don't know how that's going to work because, you know, Judge Clancy said what Judge Clancy said. You know, so I don't even know, y'all.
He said a bunch of bullshit. Okay, that the appellate court said that he need to unsay. Okay, he need to unsay it. Okay,
going to work because, you know, Judge Clancy said what Judge Clancy said. You know, so I don't even know, y'all. I did not see this coming at all. I didn't think it was even possible for her to get out. I thought that her attorney, R. Williams, had to do from the appeal because that's just her job.
That's what those bloggers told you, sweetheart, okay? That's just what they told you. But if they was following the law, they know Ari was standing on business when she did that appeal. And if you read her background, you would have saw that she win mostly all of her appeal cases. I'm gonna need y'all to wake up, get out your feelings, get out of your emotions, and read the damn law. Do some research, okay?
Had to do from the appeal because that's just her job. I never considered that it was a real possibility that they would let Cordasia.
Then you don't know nothing about the law. There is a lot of people, I want to say a total of 104, and no, that was the last number, that have been charged with first-degree murder in Illinois or Chicago, Illinois, that's out on pretrial release, okay? Okay? We try to tell you that just because somebody's been charged with first degree does not mean that they have to sit and wait, okay? To get to just be in jail, you know?
I never considered that it was a real possibility that they would let Cordasia Holly Johnson up out of there for pretrial release to have a baby. I thought that the baby, you know, what we thought, it wasn't no more baby, put it that way. But apparently, I guess there is a baby. I mean, I got the court record. I'm going to post it. So I guess there is still a baby. And she got to get out because she having a baby. Oh, so we're going to let out all pregnant women, right? Everybody, if you pregnant, you can just get out. I don't care what you do. You could just go and get up out of there if you were pregnant. Y'all, I'm hoping Judge...
You know, it's just, it baffles me how they are carrying this pregnant story. Like, and I think they're doing it to soften the blow of their egos. I'm telling you, it's to soften the blows of their egos, because a majority of the Romika supporters are saying the same shit. They're saying the same thing, same talk.
If you were pregnant, y'all, I'm hoping Judge Clancy stand by what he said and do not let her up out of there. Because I believe with everything in me that this was premeditated. Because it's too many factors that say it was. What evidence did the appellate court have that the lower court did not have?
The right evidence, right? And premeditated would not mean that Romika pulled up on Holly. Premeditated would have meant Holly pulled up on Romika. Or there would be some text message or whatever of her texting, come over here for a second. I just want to talk to you for a minute. Premeditation, ma'am? Yeah, okay. Okay, ma'am. How was it premeditated? Where is your proof?
They say it was. What evidence did the appellate court have that the lower court did not have? Y'all.
The lower courts did not look at the videos of their star witness, okay? They did not look at the videos to realize that she was not where she lied and said that she was.
In me that this was premeditated. Because it's too many factors that say it was. What evidence did the appellate court have that the lower court did not have? Y'all, this right here, they switched it all up. Because I don't know which way it's going to go right now.
Well, let me tell you, lean in. Lean in a little bit. It's not as cut and dry as you thought now. Letting you know that, okay? The state has an uphill battle, baby. That's called a fight, all right? The state has a fight on their hands. A fight, you know? F-I-G-H-T, a fight. Is not as cut and dry as you guys thought, okay? Just keeping it above.
This right here, they switched it all up. Because I don't know which way it's going to go right now. All I can say is that I hope she'll never get free again.
Well, she free. Well, she will be next week. She about to be free next week, so your hopes are not going to be answered. But I noticed that she does have the pink nail polish, so she was standing in the paint with the pink nail polish on.
Because Romika should still be here with her baby, her mama, her siblings, her family, and her friends.
You are absolutely correct. She should still be here. Yep. If she would have kept driving.
She didn't do anything that morning to deserve not to be here.
Well, that's up to the courts to decide, okay?
That was the first time they seen each other in person.
Okay, and people see each other one time, first time, and still unalive somebody they didn't see for the first time ever, all right? All right?
Y'all, when I tell you I didn't see this coming, I ain't see this coming.
But we did. We saw it coming. Yeah, we saw it. Oh, we saw it. We saw it coming, baby. We saw it.
I just wanted to bring y'all that update. I'm going to go ahead and type up a post with the court document to show y'all. But again, let's be clear. She has not been released. It's been kicked back to the lower court for reconsideration. A lot of people say she got. No, she didn't.
Yes, she did. The judge said that the state failed to prove, right, that she was a danger. And they have to set conditions, Kimberly. The conditions are going to be set, sweetheart, okay?
And shout out to Keys Network for the court document. All right, y'all.
And that's your problem right there. And that's your problem right there, listening to him, okay?
Let me get to typing. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.
Let me get to typing. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye. Baby, Miss Kim mad, y'all. Miss Kimberly is mad, all right? She is mad. She do not understand it. She do not understand why Holly is being released See, she thought that it was a cut and dry case, but I do believe that. Oh, wow. Okay, hold on. Let's see. Hold on. Let me turn the music down. Oh, wow. 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 Okay, girl. You go, girl. You go. You go, girl. You go. You go, girl. You go. You go. You go, girl. You go. You go. Get it. Get it. Get it. Get it. Get it. She got to do something to make herself happy. All right. Let me see. It's a snake. Okay. I don't think she's talking about the Ramika story. No, she's talking about something else. This one, okay, DV4. Okay. So anyway, but she's just one. Okay, she said, what happens next in Illinois? All right, I'm not gonna read all of that, but well, I want to read this part right here where she says, the decision of the appellate court ruling to return the determination of Khadijah Holly Johnson pretrial release does not mean that she is getting out. It simply means that the lower court will take another look at the case, follow the appellate court's instructions, and make a decision. Okay, well, the instructions was let her out sooner than later. Did y'all not read that? The appellate court said, let her out sooner than later. What part of that do she not understand? The appellate court said, let her out sooner than later. That's it. That's all. Sooner than later. Anyway, y'all, we are going to come back and we are going to be talking about David, D4VD, 21-year-old. I don't know if he I think he's a singer, artist, something like that. We're going to be talking about him on our very next live because, baby, ooh, child, We're going to be talking about him on our very next live. So if you're interested, it's probably going to be one of my late night lives. So if you're going to sleep, you can always catch it tomorrow, okay? She says, can I send you a story? Yes, sure. Send me a story, baby. Send me a story. Talk about it with amora@gmail.com, or either you can send it to my inbox on Facebook. Talk about it with Amora. So anyway, listen, y'all. We're going to be talking about that story next. She said, is David in court yet? He went to court 2 days ago. But honey, I got to tell y'all what's going on because, ooh, child, it's giving, I'll tell y'all when we come back. But let me just tell you this part. You know how we heard that some defense attorneys try to rush the case and make the prosecutor prove their case in so many days. I think it's called speedy trial or something like that. Child, they trying to do that. But we're going to talk about this whole thing. We're going to talk about this whole thing on our next live. So I'm going to give myself about an hour break to, rest my throat and relax for a minute. And then we're going to come back and we're going to talk about D4VD. He is the young 21-year-old artist that allegedly killed and dismembered the body of a 14-year-old young woman that he was in a sexual relationship with, okay? Baby, they got him on all kinds of charges, and I am going to read it for you guys, all right? So anyway, y'all make sure y'all come back because this story is going to be interesting because, honey, that man said he is not guilty. He entered a plea of not guilty, okay? So anyway, y'all come back, but thank y'all so very much for pointing to my live stream. I do appreciate you guys. If you're up, come check your girl out. If not, listen to it on your way to work tomorrow or while you at work tomorrow, all right? Let me read a couple of your statements and then I'm going to go rest my esophagus, okay? She says, scripture states, paraphrase, God says that if it be for you, the world can't be against you. Holly, give God some praise, baby. Girl, you better say that. You better say that, Patrice. You better say that. You better say that. She said, I guess she's going to dance Holly back in jail. Is that for the judge, Clancy, so he can keep Holly in jail? Girl, I guess she was doing that. She said, more you should look into Virginia laws about people going through a divorce, i.e. that poor lady. Apparently, to risk losing your home if you leave your home while going through the proceedings. Which one are we speaking on? Losing your home. Which one are we speaking on? Who's in Virginia? Who's in Virginia? Who's in Virginia? I'm not sure. Thanks to my mods. Shout out to my mods. I have amazing mods. I love my mods, you guys. I do. Mwah, to the best mods on YouTube. To the best mods on YouTube. Shout out to you guys. Love my mods. Shout out to my members. Those are the ones that's lit up in green. Thank you so much for pouring into my channel. I do appreciate you guys. The one that unalived by the politician. The one unalived by the politician? Oh, okay. I know what you're talking about. She was in the, he was in the basement and he ended up unaliving her and then taking his own life or something like that. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I remember now. I had to think for a second. Yeah. Okay. So anyway, y'all, so get some rest. If you're still up, come back. It's going to be about an hour or so. So if you're up, come back. If not, catch it in the morning. But we're going to, and that's if you're interested in this case. Like I said, he's a 21-year-old singer. He just started his, he's just became successful in his singing career. And baby, he was messing with a whole child. Oh, it's so cringy. It's so cringy to even think of it. Today I heard on TMZ that they said the girl was between 11 and 13 when they first started messing around, y'all. Y'all got to come back and hear this mess. Y'all got to come back and hear this mess, baby. Because my grandbabies, I got a grandbaby that's 10 and 11 right now. Ew. But anyway, y'all make sure y'all come back and hear this story if you're up. If not, then catch it in the morning, all right? I love y'all. I appreciate y'all, and I am signing out. Thanks again for the blessing. And let me just go rest my throat, and I will be back. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Oh, Christina, I was trying to read what you said. What's Kimmy and Keys? She said, Kimmy and Keys, who's going to set it up? They're perfect for each other. Who is Kimmy? I mean, the only Kimmy I know that was used to be in the Cora story. I don't know who Kimmy, but anyway, I love y'all. Kimmy, the lady that was just dancing. The lady that was just dancing. Oh, I got you. That kind of went over my head a little bit. Okay. She said, what time you coming back? In about an hour. So right now it is 8:40. Well, let's just say 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock, an hour, 20 minutes. 10 o'clock, I'll be back with the D4VD story, okay? Love y'all. I'll be back at 10. Talk to y'all later. Bye now.
Because they can't make $1 without mentioning down one of our names.
She kept talking about that family.
Hoes over there.
She kept talking about that family. 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 That family. She kept talking about that family. Talking about that family.
These motherfuckers don't be wanting to listen on them. Because they can't make $1 without mentioning down one of our names.